Hello everyone and welcome to the first episode of the Hypercar Hunt. The road to replacing the Regera, and what better way to start it off than with this, the all-new Koenigsegg Gemera. So let's get into it. The word Gemera in Swedish meaning Gemera, to give more power, more space, more usability. Now usability is the name of the game here. You've got 4 seats, 4 suitcases, 8 cup holders. The practicality of this is crazy, and if you were to think that they substituted performance for practicality, you'd be wrong. Now this 2-door, 4-seat configuration is pretty unique, with doors that are well over 6 foot, closer to 7 foot, but with the accessibility remarkably easy into the rear seats. This is a true 4-seater. You have rear infotainment, as I said before, multiple cup holders, and ease of entry and exit is a big thing. If you park this thing in an underground garage, they've put parking sensors effectively on the top of the door, which means if it senses the roof is too low, it will only open it up to its maximum capability. Very clever, because let's face it, I've never seen a door that's taller than me. Now there is a good reason why I'm stepping down here, not just to tell you about these 5-spoke Y configurated wheels, it's also to tell you about the fact that this car is 4-wheel drive. It's also 4-wheel torque vectoring, but interestingly, it's not 4-wheel steer. It's only front-wheel steer because the car is actually quite short. You've got 21s on the front and 22s on the back, with some of the biggest brake discs I have ever seen. But talking about brakes, we should probably talk about what makes the thing go. So let's head to the back and have a little look at the drivetrain. Through here is the Jesko-derived Hot V. Now Hot V meaning the intakes are actually on the side rather than on the top, and this engine is insane. Combined with the electric dark matter motor on the front axle, the engine produces 1500, and combined with the electric motors, it produces the total of 2300 brake horsepower. Oh my God! Regardless of how many seats, you can put that amount in a bus and it would still be ludicrously fast, and well, this thing's no bus. The gearbox attached to this was also derived from the Jesko, but they called it their Tourbillon 9-speed, the light-speed transmission out of the Jesko. It is the fastest shifting gearbox in the world, and yeah, trust me, the Jesko gearbox ain't slow, and in this thing, yeah, mental. Now in terms of storage, the front compartment actually doesn't have any, that is an air intake, but the back, you would have thought, well, where the engine is, they've had to substitute some space. You'd be wrong. Take a look at this. This is a suitcase, but don't worry. There is, in fact, more. There's a whole nother suitcase. And bearing in mind, these are not small, these things. And you guessed it, there's another suitcase. So you've already got a hypercar that takes effectively more luggage than, well, most sports cars. In fact, if any sports car, you're dealing with a 4x4. That is 4 suitcases. That's enough for your wife to pack, and then through here you've got another compartment which is enough for the husband's luggage. Truly remarkable. Well done, Koenigsegg. Taking a step into the Koenigsegg Gemera then, the remarkable thing that they have done is made the sill incredibly low, so you don't actually have any catch point there at all. And you may be thinking, well, there's not much legroom back there. I have this seat all the way back. With a press of a button, I can then move my seat to the driving position, and all of a sudden, you've got loads of room for all 4 seats. The party trick that I rather love is, watch this, right? You ready? Say you're in a McDonald's drive-thru in your 4-seater Koenigsegg, observe. Hello, I'd like a quarter pounder, please. Ah, thank you very much. Look at that, straight through that window. I mean, you could get anything through that. Chicken selects, dips, quarter pounder. That is McDonald's approved. Now underneath this magnificent centre tunnel of carbon fibre with 4 cup holders is an equally impressive carbon prop shaft that goes from the engine to the electric motors. And then under that carbon prop shaft is the battery packs to run the hybrid drivetrain in a T configuration. So under the driver and passenger seat, the T goes a long ways and then the battery comes backwards. So what that means is the centre of gravity has been put perfectly in the middle of the car. Clever stuff. Okay, the boot is impressive with the 4 suitcases and the extra little suitcase for you, but up here there is something else. You may notice 4 little squares. Well, when I push down, they are in fact attach points for a roof box. or a ski rack, or even 2 bicycles. So that means you would have double the amount of luggage if you put a roof box on this. And yes, that is a factory option. You can have a painted matched roof box. That is very cool. In fact, you may remember seeing photos of the Agera R, fondly known as Speed Racer, with a white roof box, and everyone was like, that's the coolest thing ever. And I'm actually really glad that Koenigsegg decided to bring that back. But I think it is now time to rate this car. Now, in this series, every car that we review will be divided into 4 parts: value, desirability, usability, and performance. We will rate them out of 10, and okay, not necessarily the highest scoring car wins and we buy that car, but it will be an honest rundown of what we believe is fair in each category. So let's start with desirability then. In fact, I think desirability is probably the lowest scoring part of this car, as there are 300 cars being made. Now, yes, that's not a lot of cars being made, considering they made 500 Chirons, but 300 cars is also significantly more than the 125 Jescos or 80 Regeras. So out of 10, I would have to rate that a 5. Usability then, this car can only have 1 score. It's got 8 cup holders, 4 suitcases, 4 seats. I think that has to be a 10 out of 10. I mean, honestly, if they had slightly less legroom or didn't have the suitcases or didn't have as many cup holders or didn't, but they've done everything. And actually, I will acknowledge that this car is a 10 out of 10 for usability. Performance then, the key factor in any hypercar buying. Well, this thing is not shy of a miracle. 5-litre twin turbocharged V8, flat plane crank derived from a Jesco, producing over 2,000 brake horsepower. Now, if this was in any other car, people would be baffled, but because it is in this, I'm speechless. I mean, how have they compacted such a mass amount of power, still fit 4 seats and luggage? So in terms of performance, this is getting a 9 out of 10. Value then, a key point of this series, because as I said, at the end of it, we will be announcing and you will see in person whatever hypercar we choose. So, we are selling the Regera. Now I'm valuing the value rating off, do we get a bit of money afterwards? Do we put more money in? The general score. So $2.5 million plus options plus tax, $3 million plus options. Now, the options for a car like this are endless. If you really approach Koenigsegg and said, I want to do this, this and this, they would find a way to do it. You'd pay for it, but they would find a way. So it's kind of a tricky thing to value, but if you value it on numbers, 300 made, compared to a Bugatti Tourbillon, which is over 4 million euros, this thing is significantly more unique. 4 seats, lots of luggage, you get the idea. So I think value-wise, Koenigsegg have hit the nail right on the head with this, and I'm going to score it an 8 out of 10. The Koenigsegg Gemera then, a fascinating take on a very unique hypercar that is in a world of which everyone is battling to be as unique as possible. I think Koenigsegg is on the front line of that battle. Now, this thing, in my opinion, is absolutely incredible, but will it join the garage? Well, you'll have to tune in to find out, but make sure to hit that notification icon, subscribe to wait and see for more episodes soon to come. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.